Good morning, mountain riders. Today we are heading west from home. I've been asked to lay out some routes for an event that's coming up, and I'm not too sure about one of the stops on that event, and I think it's something we should go check out to make sure it's valid. So that's where we're headed today. We don't have far to go. It's just half an hour or so over to essentially the next town or two to check this out, so it's no big deal. Worth doing. I'd rather make sure a good stop on a ride that I'm putting together than end up with something lame. But we are just coming into Dillsboro. We're headed south on 441. And we are going to take this first right at the light here just outside town. This is putting us on Haywood Road. And we shouldn't have far to go at all. Should be right here. Let's go see. Yep, there it is. So in 1993, there was a movie shot here, one which you may be familiar with, starring Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. It was The Fugitive. And we have come to see remnants of the train wreck that was in that movie. That's the bus from that scene, and right next to it is the wrecked locomotive. Sadly, you can't get down any closer to see it because it's all fenced off quite well. It's railroad property, it's private. But the best view you're going to get from the road is to walk down a little bit from where we stopped. And as spring comes on, it's going to be a bit more overgrown, but still, you can see it was here. Still is. So I think I will suggest this stop for the ride. It looks pretty good. The Fugitive Train. So this is the landmark, the Transit Authority building here on Haywood Road, and the train is just downhill along the Tuckasegee River. So to get the really best view of the train site itself is the best way to do that is actually to take the Smoky Mountains Railroad excursion out of Dillsboro, because the tracks go right by it there. So if you're a real movie buff and want to get a closer look, that's about the best you're going to do, is to pay to take the train ride. It's about I think a 3 or 4 hour ride over to Bryson City and back, and I believe it starts in Bryson, comes here, stops for about an hour, hour and a half, and then heads back over there. So that's the best way. Otherwise, you can also see it pretty good if you like kayaking or rafting. It's pretty visible from the river as you're going by in a boat too. So that's the best way to see it, but this is as good as you're going to do from the road. So one other spot of interest when you're down to see the train is a bit beyond. There is a trestle here, and we're about 1,000 yards or so from the train wreck, and it leads to a tunnel across the way. Now that tunnel is the Cullowhee Tunnel, and it has quite a history to it. It's reported to be haunted, and it goes back to an event from 1884. There was a group of 30 convicts, a chain gang, out here on December the 30th,
and they were working on that tunnel and laying the railroad that was expanding throughout western North Carolina at the time and opening up the minerals and the lumber that was available here. And they loaded up their boat and they were pulling their way across the river, and the convicts were getting more and more nervous as it had rained the day before and the boat was full of water, and they were worried it was leaking and it was going to sink. And at one point they all moved towards the front of the boat. It capsized, and sadly, because all 30 of them were chained together, they all drowned in the river, and the 2 prison guards that were with them did manage to escape. So that's the Cullowhee Tunnel over there. It's going to be hard to see once the leaves come on the trees, but trust me, it's there. And there is an access road around the backside as well, that it's a dirt road that leads around that side of the tunnel too. It's about 700 feet long, and the train that runs out of Dillsboro over to Bryson City goes through this tunnel. So that's another cool piece of history right here. So there you have it, a couple of spots of interest here in western North Carolina. Once again, this is right outside the town of Dillsboro, which is located where US 74, Great Smoky Mountains Expressway, which you're riding now, meets US 441, which plunges south and takes you down into Georgia and beyond. An easy stop, and one that you can work in fairly simply to your rides, as these major roads, it's hard to avoid them sometimes. So those are a couple good stops for you. So that ends a short episode, and we will be moving on next to episode 42. Keep watching. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and give us a nice like and to share with your friends, and we'll get another episode out just as soon as I can. Bye.